Leeds United are a team that have been at the top of English football before, with players such as Rio Ferdinand, Eric Cantona and Jimmy Ford Hasselbank. They now see themselves in the Championship with some great young talent in Elan Mellier, Archie Gray and Willie Nonto. They are the team that we will be focusing on today for the rebuild. If you do enjoy the video, please make sure you leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel as well. Let's jump straight into the tactic that we're going to be using with Leeds throughout this rebuild. Jumping straight into the tactics then, and as you can see, we're using a pretty normal 4-2-3-1. This is what you'll probably see from most 4-2-3-1 formations. Both the left back and right back are on wing backs on support. The left centre back is a central defender on a defensive, and the right centre back is a ball playing defender on defensive as well. We do have a volante and a deep line playmaker in the middle, both set to support. On the left wing and the right wing, we do have inside forwards, both on attack. You have an attacking midfielder on support as well, and a pressing forward on attack. In terms of player instructions, you can see we've got take more risks, dribble less, and shoot more often on the pressing forward. In terms of the inside forwards, we have tackle harder on both sides. The attacking midfielder, we have take more risks, dribble more, and tackle harder. The deep line playmaker, we have dribble more and tackle harder. The volante, we have take fewer risks, dribble less, shoot more often, and tackle harder as well. Both wing backs we have set to take more risks. The left centre back, take fewer risks, tackle harder, and the right centre back, we just have tackle harder on there as well. In terms of the tactic, you can see the mentality, we're sticking with positive. In terms of in possession, passing that ball into space, we're playing out our defence, we're keeping that passing directness at shorter and that tempo as high as possible. In transition, we're counter pressing when the possession has been lost, but also countering when we've won the possession as well. Goalkeeper distribution, we want it distributed quickly and distributed to the fullbacks and centre backs, and taking short kicks out as well. Out of possession, we're keeping that higher defensive line along with a high press line of engagement. We're preventing the short goalkeeper distribution and triggering that press much more often, and our last option we have there is stepping up that defensive line much more as well. We're going to jump into the one and only signing that we made in the summer for this first season with Leeds. Hopefully you can help us go to that Championship title. Let's have a look who we brought in to bolster the squad. Taking a look then at the one and only signing that we did bring in, and that was Simon Adingra coming in from Brighton. As you can see from his card, only 22 years of age, and he's got some fantastic stats already. 16 dribbling, 14 on finishing and first touch, as well as technique. Flair 16, acceleration 16 and pace 16 as well. So he's a fantastic winger to bring in. Hopefully he can do good numbers for us throughout the season. We're going to sim the whole season now. Let's see how we do in that first season in the Championship and in the rest of the domestic competitions as well. First season sim then, and as you can see, we do come away at champions of the Championship, winning the league by 1 point to second place Middlesbrough. We do come away winning 30 games in the league, drawing 8 and losing 8 as well. So fantastic performance from us, back up to the Premier League where we do believe that Leeds belong. When we take a look at the stats, you can see fantastic season from us. Most points per game, we're averaging at 2.13. Most shots for Leeds as well, 777 shots across 46 matches in the league. Going down to the fewest conceded, we are joint top, only 47 goals conceded in 46 matches, so just over a goal a game, which isn't too bad. And when we look at most goals, we do finish third with 95 goals scored in 46 matches. So a fantastic season from us, back up to the Premier League. Hopefully we don't turn into a yo-yo club and drop back down after that first season. But let's have a look at how we've done in the other domestic competitions as well. When it comes to the other domestic competitions, not much to rave about. We did make the quarter-final of the English FA Cup. However, we do get knocked out by Manchester City in the quarter-final. In terms of the Carabao Cup, didn't even make it out of the first round that we played. Got knocked out in the second round by Sheffield United. So not too much to phone home about in terms of the domestic competitions. We're going to have a quick look at the data hub now, see how this tactic has done for us in the Championship, and then we can compare it when we do jump into the Premier League as well. Taking a quick look at the data hub then, and as you can see, good stats actually for the first season in charge of Leeds. 2.07 goals per game, so we're happy with that. Only one conceded, as we did see from the stats from the Championship as well. 16.89 shots per game with 43.76 shots on target, and the pass completion of 87.91. So the tactic has done well for us in the first season. Some very good stats coming away from that. I'm happy with the 2 goals per game. We're going to compare it after the first season in the Premier League, and we'll see how the tactic does for us when we do jump up to the best league in the world. Before we jump in to the second season and the signings, we are just going to take a quick look at the squad and see how they've performed throughout the year. As you can see, Rutter is at the 45 games, 27 goals and 8 assists, so a fantastic performance from him. The loanee Simon Adingra did do 38 games, 13 goals and 5 assists, and Nonto is coming in just behind him with 13 goals and 9 assists as well. So a fantastic performance from some attacking players there. We're going to go straight into the summer transfer window now. Let's see who we've brought in and let go from the squad for this first season back in the Premier League. Diving straight in at the deep end then with the transfers, and as you can see, £126 million spent on transfers in. The main signing that we did make was Matheus Cunha, coming in from the relegated Wolves for £45 million. We look at his stats, absolutely fantastic, great technicals, mentals and physical stats on him. We all know him from FM. He is an absolute beast in games, so happy to bring him in. We do have a couple more that we brought in for decent money. Savio coming in from Troyes, again, fantastic technicals, mentals and physicals on him. We have Luis Suarez coming in, not the Suarez you're thinking of, a different one. He comes in from Almeria, and again, fantastic stats on him and could be our star striker next year. Other than that, we brought in a few different players. Seth Vandenberg coming in from Liverpool for £5 million. We do have Labrovic coming in from Rijeka for £2.9 million, and he is actually going to be our starting goalkeeper next year. So a controversial one to replace Melier straight away. However, I do feel like Melier isn't really the best in game, and we can replace him with a better goalkeeper. Timber coming in from Arsenal on loan. I think he joined late on in the season. Araujo and Emerson joined later on in the season as well. In terms of transfers out, not too much to shout home about. We do have Christensen and Jack Harrison leaving the club for a combined £71 million to Al Nassr, so they're both jetting out to Saudi, and we're happy to take the money for them and reinvest it into some better players. So let's sim the rest of the first season in the Premier League. Let's see how we get on, not just in the Premier League but in the domestic competitions, and let's see how these new signings have done for us throughout the first season back in the Premier League for Leeds. Taking a look then at the first season with Leeds in the Premier League, and we actually finish a very respectable 8th position, cementing that UEFA Europa League spot. We do finish on 63 points, so only 4 points behind Manchester United, so a fantastic season for us. Let's have a look at the rest of the competitions and see how we've done in those. The first trophy we're going to look at then is the FA Cup, and as you can see, we did make it to the final. We did play Tottenham, and we did beat them 3-2 in extra time. So the second season in charge of Leeds, and we have taken them to an FA Cup. What a fantastic second season. Silverware straight away as well, so unbelievable for the lads. We're going to move on to the rest of the competitions. Let's see how we've done in those as well. I don't think I believe it, so I don't think you're going to believe it either, but we did get to the final of the Carabao Cup, and we did also win it against Brentford 2-1 within 90 minutes. So we've actually gone on to do a domestic double in our second season with Leeds. Absolutely unbelievable from the lads. I knew we was going to be a strong side this year with who we brought in, but I did not think we would go on to do a domestic double. So we do have Europa League next year, so it's going to be interesting to see how Leeds fare in Europe. Hopefully we can pick up some results there. Before we take a look at the squad, let's go and have a look at the data hub and see how the tactic has done for us in the Premier League. Taking a quick look at the data hub then, and as you can see, still some positive stats from this season. 1.79 goals per game, so it has dropped a little bit from the Championship, but we would expect that. 1.54 goals against per game. Again, that has gone up from the Championship, but playing better quality teams, we're going to expect to concede more goals. Still over 10 shots per game with 11.58, with 45.68 shots on target ratio, so that has jumped up from the Championship as well, and still an 86.78 pass completion ratio. So still a fantastic stats for us. Again, moving up into the Premier League, it's always going to be harder. However, the tactic is still doing a good job, so we are going to continue with that tactic throughout the save. We're going to take a quick look now at the players that we brought in, and let's see how they did for us throughout the season. Matheus Cunha is the first player that we're going to look at then, and as you can see, when he was last in the Premier League with Wolves, 35 games, 7 goals and only 1 assist. First season with Leeds in the Premier League, 34 games, 16 goals and 9 assists. So a fantastic season from Cunha. Let's have a look how the rest have performed as well. Savio was the second man that came in, and as you can see from his stats this year, 31 games, 11 goals and 11 assists. So a fantastic signing, only £23 million. So he's been definitely worth that money with 22 goal contributions across the season. Luis Suarez was the next man that came in, again signed for £18.5 million, 34 games, 13 goals, 3 assists with 2 player of the matches. So again, worth the £18.5 million. He was only bought by Almeria for 6.75, but the £18.5 million price tag that we have on him, I think is definitely worth it. Labrovic is the last signing that we're going to look at. Only signed for £2.9 million from Rijeka in the Croatian League. As you can see, 35 games across all competitions and only 42 goals conceded with 8 clean sheets and 3 player of the matches. So more than worth the £2.9 million that we spent on him. If you are looking for a goalkeeper when you've just come up from the Championship, I definitely recommend this man. We're going to jump into the third season now and let's see who we've signed for our first season in Europe. I would like to remind you that if you are enjoying this video, please make sure you leave a like, get yourselves in the comments and subscribe to the channel. We are setting a target of 100 subscribers by the end of March, so if you can help us get there, I would massively appreciate it. Let's jump in to the summer transfer window of our third season. Another summer transfer window, another absolute massive window for us, spending £152 million in this transfer window. The main signing, we all know him, Lazar Samardzic, coming in from Udinese for £42 million. We've all seen this guy before. We all know what his stats look like. Look at the technical, mental and physical stats on this lad. Only 24 years of age. He's going to be an absolute fantastic signing for us. Another man we brought in, again, we all know him, Ousmane Diomande, coming in from Sporting. Unbelievable technical, mental and physicals on him for a centre-back as well. He comes in for £40 million. The third man, again, we all know him. It's Rooney Bargi coming in from Copenhagen for £35 million. He's unbelievable. We've all seen this lad in FM before. Still only 20 years of age, so going to be a fantastic signing for us. The next man we brought in was Bayomo for £20 million. He comes in to strengthen us up at the back. Again, only 24 years of age. And then we do have Loco coming in, Fundi coming in from Udinese as well on loan, and Volpata is the last man that we brought in from Manchester United on loan as well. In terms of transfers out, you can see £71 million recouped, mainly on 2 players. The first one, Maximilian Wolberg, going out to Fulham for £31 million, which could rise to 39. And the second man is Pascal Struijk, going out to Brighton for £34 million, again can rise to £37.5 million. So let's sim the rest of the season. Let's have a look how we've done in the Premier League. Hopefully we can improve, and let's see how we've done in that first season in Europe with Leeds. Jumping straight into the Premier League then, and as you can see, we have finished 4th in our second season in the Premier League with Leeds. We do finish just behind Arsenal on 71 points. However, they do pip us on goal difference. But it is Champions League football next year for Leeds. Can you believe that we've done that turnaround from being in the Championship 2 seasons ago to now going in to the Champions League in our 4th season with the boys? Let's have a look at the rest of the competitions. The next one we're going to look at is the Europa League, and let's see how we've done in that first season in Europe. We said we was going to see how we did in our first season in Europe, and you actually joined me in the final against Napoli, where you've just seen Profunde put away the one and only goal in the game to go on and beat Napoli 1-0 in the final. So we've actually picked up that Europa League trophy at the first time of asking, which means even if we didn't finish in the top 4, we would have qualified for that Champions League anyway. But you can see some of the ratings that some of the lads have put in. Labrovic a 7.8, Timber a 7.9, Profundi a 7.1 with his goal as well. So a fantastic performance from us. We did deserve it. 10 shots with 6 on target compared to 5 shots from Napoli with 0 on target. So a very well deserved trophy. I can't believe we've picked it up at the first time of asking. Let's have a look at the rest of the domestic competitions. When it comes to the FA Cup, we do unfortunately go out in the 4th round, getting beat 1-0 to League One side Huddersfield. I cannot believe it. I was hoping we could go back-to-back with this FA Cup. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. We do get knocked out in that 4th round, but let's see how we've done in the Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup time now, and did we win it? Of course, you can see we did not. We got knocked out in the 3rd round when we played Liverpool away from home, and they did unfortunately beat us 1-0. The last trophy that we competed in this season was actually the first trophy of the season, and that's the Community Shield. Let's see if we went on to win that. The Community Shield is the last trophy that we are looking at, and did we win it? No, we never. Man City won it. They beat us on penalties, 0-0 after 120 minutes, and we go on to lose on penalties to City. So actually a very good performance from us. If we are going 120 minutes and keeping Man City out, I'm very happy with that. Unfortunately, we couldn't edge it on the penalties, but we are now going to take a quick look again at that data hub, and let's see how we've done in terms of the stats this year. Taking a quick look at the data hub then, and unfortunately you can see that the goals per game have dropped down to 1.18. So we're not fantastic going forward from us this season. The expected goals against have creeped over 1 as well at 1.01. So again, defensively, not fantastic from us. Shots on target, 10 shots per game. So I'm happy with that. Shots on target ratio, 48.83. And when it comes to the pass completion, we are staying around the same mark at 86.94%. So we're not going to change the formation going into season number 4. We are happy with where we're finishing with this formation. So we're going to keep faith in it, and let's see how we do in season number 4, and let's see if we can improve on 4th place in the Premier League. Before we do that, we are going to take a quick look at the stats from the new signings as per usual. Samardzic, £42 million, only 15 games played and 2 goals. So not fantastic from him. Is he worth that £42 million that we spent? He's definitely not showing it in his first season. The last man we're going to take a look at is Simon Profundi, coming in on loan from Udinese. He did play 24 games across all appearances, 5 goals, 1 player of the match, and a 6.78 average rating. Again, he's a fantastic player. We all know Profundi. He is still only 20 years of age, I believe, so still got a fantastic future ahead of him. He might be one that we pick up further down the line, but for now, we're not going to make that deal permanent, and he is going to go back to Udinese to carry on improving next year. Time for the 4th season now. Let's get straight into that summer transfer window. Jumping straight into the summer transfer window for this 4th season then, and it is our biggest transfer window yet. £213 million spent to improve the squad. The first man that we bring in is Scalvani from Atalanta, £68 million. As you can see, 23 years of age, fantastic centre-back in game, technical, mental and physical attributes all there, so hopefully a big signing for us. The next man that we bring in is actually Reece James from Chelsea. This man went on the transfer list, and I thought to myself, I cannot let him go without trying to chuck a bid in there for him. Thankfully, he accepted our bid. Great technical, mental and physical attributes on the boy as well. It's going to be a fantastic right back for us moving forward. The next man that we bring in is Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He is a man that is currently struggling in real life. I think he's gone 20 games without a goal, but one thing he never does is struggle in Football Manager. The man is an absolute bagsman, and we had to bring him in, costing us £54 million from Everton. Other key signings, you can see Szymanski is coming in from Fenerbahce for £22 million. We do actually manage to get Johan Bakayoko on a free when he leaves PSG, and as you can see from his stats, again, the technical, mental and physical attributes on him, only 24 years of age, and got a value of 63 to 79 million pounds. So a fantastic bit of business getting him in on a free deal. And then we do bring in Arda Güler and Conor Bradley on loans for the season as well. In terms of the transfers out, the man that we brought in early on in this rebuild, Luis Suarez, does leave to AC Milan for £45 million. Willy Gnonto does leave to Leipzig. He did have a release clause in his contract, and Leipzig did trigger that clause, so £43 million for Gnonto. Ampadu also follows him, going to Leipzig for £34.5 million. And then the only other big transfer out is Jorginho Rutter, going out to West Ham for £20 million. Let's have a look at the competitions now. Let's see how we've done in this 4th season. Have we managed to win the Premier League yet? We'll soon find out. The question was, have we won the Premier League? And as you can see, we have 82 points has been enough to claim Leeds their first league title since the 91-92 season when it comes to the Premier League. We are taking Leeds back to the pinnacle of English football. So absolutely smashed it in this rebuild. It took us 4 seasons. The goal now is, can we go back to back? And we'll soon find that out. However, we're going to take a quick look at the stats from this Premier League season. Most goals were up there in first, 87 goals in 38 matches. When it comes to the fewest conceded, 42 goals conceded in 38 matches, so that puts us in 5th. When we take a look at the fewest shots against and the most possession, you don't see us feature, and that is a normal thing for this formation that we are using. We are not normally top of the fewest shots against and the most possession, so that is perfectly fine. We can move on from that. And the most shots, 570 shots across 38 matches, so 10 more than second place City when it comes to most shots for. Let's jump straight across to that Champions League now, because I want to see how we've done with Leeds in the first season back in the Champions League. Taking a look at the Champions League then, and as you can see, we got a very unfortunate draw in the round of 16. We do come up against giants FC Bayern Munich, who do edge us out on penalties. It was actually 3-all on aggregate, and we do actually go on to beat them 1-0 away from home. However, we didn't have enough when it comes to penalties, and Bayern Munich did progress. When we take a look at the final, who won it? AS Monaco, 3-0 against Barcelona in the final. So what a season it's been from them. Hopefully this can be Leeds next year. But so let's take a look at the rest of the domestic competitions and let's see how we've done. Taking a look then at the remaining competitions, and with the English FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, you can see we did not go far in those competitions at all. Knocked out in the 3rd round by Sunderland in the FA Cup. I cannot believe we're getting knocked out by Sunderland in the 3rd round, by the way. It's a terrible performance from us in the FA Cup this year. And the Carabao Cup, we do actually get knocked out in the 4th round by Manchester City. However, if you asked me at the start of the season, would I take an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup or a Premier League? I'm walking away the Premier League, so I'm completely happy with that. Let's take a quick look at the data hub and see how the formation has performed for us in this 4th season. Data hub time then, and you can actually see that this formation has cooked up a little treat for us this year. 2.29 goals per game with an expected goals against of 1.38. We do jump up to 15 shots per game with 47% of that on target, and the pass completion has creeped over into the 87% as well. So the formation's working for us. Again, we're moving into the 5th and final season in charge of Leeds. We're going to stick with this formation and let's see if we can improve on these stats next year. Before we move into that last season, we are going to take a quick look at the new signings and see how they have performed for us this year. The first man we're going to take a look at then is Calvert-Lewin. As you can see, 28 games in the Premier League, 21 goals scored and 3 assists. Looking back on his recent years at Everton, you can actually see that this is the most goals that he's scored so far in this save as well. So a fantastic performance from him. Is he worth the £54 million? I mean, he scored over 20 goals, so I'll take that for the amount of money that we've paid for him. Let's have a look at Bakayoko, because he's the man that came in on a free, and let's see how he's done this year. We are here then with the man Bakayoko that cost us absolutely nothing, and look at the stats that he's put out this year. 38 games, 11 goals, 6 assists, and an average rating of 7.05. So what a fantastic signing that has been. He has come in on a free, he's made an instant impact. What we're going to do now is take a look at the rest of the squad and see how they fared in the 4th season when we actually went on to win that Premier League. Taking a quick look then at the rest of the squad, you can see Savio is coming in, 53 games, 11 goals and 22 assists. So a fantastic season from him. Cunha, just below him, 41 games, 11 goals, 4 assists. We have Samajic, who was mainly playing in central midfield, 9 goals, and 10 assists from him. And Brendan Aronson, again, mainly playing in that central midfield spot, 9 goals and 11 assists from him. What we're going to do now is we are moving into that last season of the rebuild. I'm going to remind you again, leave a like rating. We are trying to get 100 subs before the end of March, so make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Let's move in to the last season of this Leeds rebuild. Let's see, for 1, if we can go back-to-back in the Premier League, and for 2, if we can win that Champions League trophy as well. You join me then in this 5th and final season of the Leeds rebuild. As you can see, £125 million spent. The bulk of that has been spent on Mickey van der Ven coming in from Tottenham for £72 million. Now, Now you can see from his mental and his physical stats, this man is an absolute beast in Football Manager, and he comes in to strengthen us in that left back position. Another man we brought in was Joshua Zirkzee, a backup striker that we needed. 17 dribbling, 16 passing, 18 technique with 19 flair, 16 teamwork and 16 vision. So fantastic stats from him. He comes in from Bologna for £43.5 million. We do bring in Joe Winton as well. Fantastic mental and physical stats on him. Again, only costing us £8.5 million. And then we bring in Emile Smith-Rowe and Youssoufa Moukoko coming in on loan from Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund respectively. In terms of transfers going out, we do recoup £116 million. £58 million of that was Matheus Cunha going out to Al Ittihad. Sepp Vandenberg does leave us, and we do actually gain a profit. He goes out for £20 million. Archie Gray, now I'm sorry Leeds fans, I know a lot of you are not going to be happy with me for selling Archie Gray. However, £7.25 million for Archie. He was hardly playing in the team, so we had to accept it. Ogbu goes out to Brighton for £15.5 million. And another man that you're not going to be happy with. However, again, another man who was not playing in the save was Illan Meslier, and he does only leave us for £5.5 million. So let's jump into the competitions now. The first one we're going to look at is the Premier League. Did we go back to back? We do go on to win that Premier League, going back to back 2 times in a row. We are keeping Leeds at the pinnacle of English football. 89 points, so improving on that points tally as well. 28 games won with 5 drawn and only 5 lost. If we take a quick look at the stats, you can see most goals, we do come in second. 91 goals scored across the season. Fewest conceded, we actually are down in 7th with 46 goals conceded. If we take a look at the most shots for, 658 shots from us, so 38 shots more than any other team in the league. So a fantastic performance from us. We go back to back. Leeds are at the pinnacle of English football for the 2nd season on the bounce. The big one now is the Champions League. Let's see how we've done. We said last year that we wanted to do better in the Champions League, and did we manage to do it this season? Will you actually join me in the Champions League final, where you can see Szymanski picks up the ball on the edge of the box with a first time shot with his left foot into the bottom left, and he scores the one and only goal in the Champions League final, taking us to a 1-0 victory against PSG. Looking at the stats, it does feel a little bit like a smash and grab. We do only have 9 shots with PSG's 13 shots. Only 1 shot on target for Leeds though, compared to PSG's at 6. And that 1 shot on target was the only goal scored in the game to win us that Champions League final. Let's have a look at the rest of the domestic competitions. Did we do a treble? Let's find out. We did go on to win a treble. Unfortunately, it's not the treble that everyone wants. We do get knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by Crystal Palace. However, you can see Carabao Cup, we are the winners, beating Arsenal 1-0 in the final. And we also win the English Community Shield, again beating Arsenal in that final 3-2. So not only do we pick up 2 trophies this season, we pick up the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. So 4 trophies all in all in our 5th season with Leeds. So an absolutely unbelievable 5th season. The best way we could finish this rebuild possible. Let's have a look at the transfers and see how they did for us in this last season. The first man that we're going to look at then is Mickey van der Ven. He was our highest signing this year in terms of transfer budget with £72 million. He does actually only go on to play 22 games across all competitions. So is he worth the £72 million that we paid for him? I don't believe he is. However, he did put in a 7.04 average rating across them 22 games. So he's put in decent performances. Decent performances that are worth £72? Definitely not. Let's move on to the next signing and see how they did. The second and final transfer that we're going to have a look at is Joshua Zirkzee coming in from Bologna. He did come in for a transfer fee of £43.5 million, playing 28 games, 6 goals and 2 assists. So again, I don't really feel like he was worth the transfer fee that we paid for him. However, being the backup to Calvert-Lewin, it was always going to be a struggle for him to put out the numbers that we was expecting. As per normal, we're going to take a quick look at that data hub. Let's see how the formation has done for us in this 5th and final season. Well, let's jump right into it. Taking a look then at the data hub for the 5th and final time. Goals per game, 2.39. Shots per game, 17.32. So clear of anyone else in the Premier League when it comes to the average. Expected goals against, 1.3. Pass completion ratio, 86.97. So the formation has done very good for us again in this 5th season. And you can see that as we did go on to win the Premier League, the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield as well. Before we end then, taking a quick look at the rest of the squad, you can see Johan Bakayoko does come away with 17 goals and 12 assists. Savio comes away with 13 goals, 16 assists. We have Samardzic coming away with 12 goals and 16 assists as well. And the last man coming away with 10 goals and 12 assists is the loanee from Arsenal, Emile Smith-Rowe. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you would like to see any other team rebuilt, please make sure you drop it into the comments. I will reply to every single one of you in the comments. If you could leave a like rating on the video, I'd massively appreciate it. And again, the target for subscribers is 100 by the end of March. So if anyone is generous enough to drop a subscription on the channel, I'd massively appreciate it. We're going to catch you in the next one. Peace.